Namaste, beautiful people. It is so wonderful to have you here again on the gathering. I am David Ault, and I always want to tell you thank you. Thank you for taking a little bit of time to pause and to come explore with me, to discuss, to walk this path with me together, because I'm right in the same boat with you as we practice what it means to unbind ourselves, to unravel ourselves, to detangle ourselves from illusion, from the things that would tell us that we are separate, the things that would hold back the immediacy of peace. You up for the challenge? I know that I am. And I think that if you continue to show up here, maybe we are of benefit to each other. So in this process this week, I've noticed a repeating word in all of the noise out there, and that repeating word is threat. Of course, that word is used often and has been around since language was invented. But when you really tune into, I'm going to notice today how many times the word threat is used or how many times I feel threatened. Then you can see the pervasive nature of that word and its description and its personal meaning to you. So the news is telling us all kinds of things about our safety being threatened, our democracy being threatened, our food supply being threatened, our this, our that are being threatened. And I'm not denying any of that. But what I want to couple in that languaging and in that observation and discussion is also the part of what we are. So let's call all of those kinds of threats relatively real. We're not saying that we're not impacted by that. We're not even saying that we're not to be involved in up-leveling those situations. However, it will do no good to enter into and try to up-level those situations if we don't first pause and remember what we are. So the Course in Miracles says that nothing real can be threatened. Nothing real can be taken away. Who else said something like that? Albert Einstein. He said energy can neither be created nor destroyed. So hold on a second. Then what's being threatened? What is being threatened is a very minuscule relative reality that really has no basis in, are you ready? Capital T truth or capital R reality. So when we attempt to describe what we are in that bigger universal field, kind of one of the best things of late for me has been true essence. I'm true essence. I am, as Ram Dass would call, loving awareness, universal, oceanic, anything that can get my mind to sort of detangle or unbind a little bit from such finiteness with regards to being so self-referential. I, me. This is not it. I don't know how that just happened in the scope of Zoom, but something activated fireworks. So the fireworks then is all about remembering that I am true essence. These filters are wild. So that was fun. So do you see what I mean? So I think it is good for us to pause for a moment and to go, wait a minute. If I attempt to advocate or to do all of the things that I've been doing from this relative reality, then sure, I'm going to burn out. I'm going to continue to shovel more dirt upon my levels of despair. I'm going to do all kinds of things that are not going to really move the needle forward on revealing and experiencing my true essence. And so this isn't about hiding under a rock and not being involved, but it's about practice. You know, I'm leading this book club this summer. It's called, based on this book, Unbinding, Buddhist teachings by the wonderful Kathleen Dowling Singh. And the book, paradoxically, has been very threatening for most people involved in the course because it is threatening our dependency upon self. In fact, we're towards the end, and one of the things we're going to discuss, aging and death as a system of suffering this coming week. The Buddha said, where there is this, there is that. Where there is this, the self, there is that which is suffering. Or in other words, where there is self. Are you ready? Where there is self, there is suffering. Every time I self-referentiate, is that a word? Or act in a self-referential manner, I'm just perpetuating the cycle of suffering, which perpetuates the dynamic of threat and the thing that I've got to do something about the threat. So where there is self, there is suffering. And if what I'm ultimately asking you this week is to pause and to notice your relationship with all things threatened, your relevancy, or who's going to love me, or what's going to happen to me, or where's my money going to come from. I've been caught and have been caught these last weeks, very much so, in the threat. One of the ways that that plays out almost all the time is with my nonprofit. And I go, wow, there's so much more for me to unpack here. I have a nonprofit. We provide global education. I feel like the work is deeply important. And the threat is always, where's the money going to come from? How are we going to gain financing for this particular thing? And if I'm not careful, and if I have not paused, then that threatening snowball effect will continue to avalanche and avalanche until I am forced to stop and go, hold on a second, David. Look at what you've just done. The beauty is that the time frame of those periods of forgetfulness get less and less, but they're still there, and I still get caught. And what I would love to do, and what I continue to practice and lean in towards, is remaining oceanic, remaining universal, even in the appearance, even in the seeming appearance that the thing that I need is not there. And I know that you can identify with it. There are things that you long for. There are things that you need in this singular plane of existence, in this relative reality. We all do. So it's not about escaping all of that or burying our head in the sand or pretending it's not there. It's not about that. It's about being in that, but having the wherewithal to have paused before I enter into it and remind myself who I am. I gave you a fun little example a week or so ago about a professor who the author said really drove that example home for her. And she's used it for decades now. She never forgot it. And he asked the students to describe the sky. And so pretty much everyone said the sky is blue. And he goes, that's true, but it's only relatively true, or it's completely not the entirety of the picture. It's probably barely even a little tiny square of the picture. He goes, let's look at the whole canvas in one fell swoop, and that would be the universe is skying bluely. She said, when he said that, she got it. She went from this little tiny fragment of looking at the sky to the vastness of going, oh my God, that's one single little element of the universe displaying itself through that particular activity. She says, how I then do that is something like this. This is not David sharing with you on a video. The universe is Daviding through sharing, if I become aware of that. So suddenly it's not about me, David, sharing. It's about, I'm just going to get out of the way and I'm going to let that which is oceanic and universal just use me, right? What if you and I did that with every little facet of life. It becomes less and less about how much can I manifest, how much can I get, and more of how can this, the I, get out of the way and allow the universe, the oceanic nature, the energy that can neither be threatened or destroyed to have full reign. So I'm still going to raise money for my nonprofit. I'm still going to make the phone calls. I'm still going to write all of the letters. But suddenly, the energy through the pen or through the typing is completely different. Now, I know as I have said that, that you can superimpose something within your life where you can practice in the same way. I know you can. I know that you have to be involved in life in some manner. I know that you have to find a way somehow to earn a living. But now instead of you earning the living or having to earn the living, what if the universe is just is youing, put an ing on the end of your name through creative outlet, through work, through specifically naming the nature of the work, typing, data entrying, lawyering, doctoring, teaching, you see? Down to the universe is viewing as knitting. I mean, every single element of human activity, it's not me doing the activity, it's the universe doing it through me. And you can begin to see the power and the dismantling of that. And we become less and less paralyzed by the usage of threat. And again, it doesn't mean that we're not involved. But can you imagine if everyone paused before they showed up to lend their support, to lend their advocacy? If they paused before showing up and they showed up as the universe advocating for rather than themselves? Wow. Now, there's a vision that I would love to participate in with you, my fellow oceanics, my fellow true essences, because we're all just the same thing. We're all one. We're all a part of that. Right now, it's just expressing through you. May this week be a week of practice. May this week be one where you are compelled to not just listen, but to experiment and know that I am here for you. Much love. And by the way, I am going to repeat this. If you follow me on social media anyway, there will be information. We'll do it through the months of August and September, 8 weeks. So there's a couple of time options, and don't worry about the money. Money, I don't want money to be an issue. I'd rather have you come and be in the playground so we can experiment. And I'm not going to kid you, it's a little bit tough. It requires a little bit of stretching, but isn't that the best? Yeah. See you next time. Bye-bye.